If you're in the IT world, you're almost guaranteed to have like 15 of these bins because there's so many little trinkety things. These are actually sitting right behind me. I mean, look at that. Ethernet coupler, I always got to keep a couple of those. VGA cable, little DVI to VGA converter, backing to my wireless access point sitting in the hallway in case I ever want to wall mount it. I mean, come on, how do you stay organized outside of just miscellaneous bins? Well, you can think of this as the miscellaneous security. How far I reach for these introductions. The miscellaneous security bin of this AWS series. Yeah, it's called IT Audits and Security Token Service, but just throw it all in there. It's just the miscellaneous security stuff I couldn't figure out where to put anywhere else. I absolutely love the business mindset behind AWS. It's brilliant. I mean, they're creating these IT products in the cloud, if you will, that they spend the time engineering, scripting, web GUIizing, and I mean virtualizing, all this stuff to where, and just take relational database service, RDS. I just finished talking about that, where you can come in and click a button and no IT admin involvement whatsoever. Bam! 10 minutes or less, you've got 2 servers running a relational database like MySQL ready to be used. That's how they're able to offer it. It's such an amazing, cost-effective way to them and to you. It's a win-win. So when you start thinking about IT audits, they are a reality. IT audits being a vendor coming in checking your licensing, or HIPAA compliance, making sure that you're secure and you pass all of these different checks in order to store sensitive customer information on your servers. I mean, the reality is the world is just a nasty place, and so we have to have all these guidelines on how to properly secure a network that has the danger of threatening the AWS model. I mean, think about if AWS had a system that every single time one of their customers were audited, AWS had to bring an engineer in and claim, oh yeah, we're secure. We don't. No. So what AWS did is they split it. They said, we're going to have the AWS side of things where we control these very specific criteria, and we are going to go in and totally certify every single one of these things at all of our data centers and keep them up to date all the time. So when it comes to the things you do, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, I mean, you and I are going to have to do the work if we get audited. AWS is just like, oh yeah, here's our form in our automated way. There you go. We're proven. All of our stuff that we're responsible for is already certified, and the IT auditor walks away without needing any intervention on AWS part whatsoever. That's why they can get away with not allowing you to physically visit their facilities. Now, there's a security element of that, right? But also think about, again, I think business mindset from AWS perspective, they're like, okay, well, if auditors have to physically visit our facilities, that means we have to pay security guards who check those auditors in, and we have to pay, you know, I don't know, whatever person comes out and meets the auditor and sits with them for 2 hours and tours them through the facility, and that costs money, right? So not only is there a security mindset behind this, but they're making their business more efficient by saying, no, you can't physically visit. Why would you need to? We're totally certified. So if you're ever involved in an IT audit, and if you are in IT for any length of time, you probably will be at some point in time, you'll be called upon to deliver your organization's assets. Assets being, you know, it could be a license audit from a vendor. It could be, you know, one of your employees are convicted of a serious crime and they need to subpoena all the data from the workstations or, you know, whatever that they worked on. Well, AWS has totally distanced themselves. As a matter of fact, AWS allows you to completely encrypt your data in your AWS account to where AWS can't access it whatsoever. Once again, going to the auditor, AWS is like, hey, well, our hands are washed. It's all on the user now. Now, the beauty of using AWS is that it's actually easier to audit an infrastructure than traditional IT, where you're trying to figure out where that server is physically located and dig through file cabinets of documents and things like that. No, AWS puts it all right in the console, so if you get an IT auditor that's experienced with AWS, they can get through that audit much faster. This will give you an idea of the official responsibilities of you versus AWS when it comes to an IT audit. AWS is responsible for that virtualization layer. They're responsible to make sure that your VM isn't able to access other customers' virtual machines, even though they're running on the same physical infrastructure, the compute infrastructure, all the processing power behind that, storage infrastructure, securing that, network infrastructure, ensuring that somebody can't open up a man-in-the-middle attack from within AWS that's able to capture data. And of course, the facility, the data center, physical security, they've got all that thing dialed in, and all of this is bing, 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 certified. So when an IT audit comes, AWS walks away untouched. You and I get in where we have to bring our organization data, users, groups, roles, account management practices that we're using. Are we using multi-factor authentication, secure passwords? What applications are we running? Are those locked down? Are the firewalls? Now you might say, whoa, network infrastructure. Well, Amazon flips right around and says, well, you're in control of that element of your network infrastructure. You say what firewall ports are allowed into your server. So, I mean, if you bring up a nice little meaty Windows 2003 box on AWS and say, you know what, I'm going to just open up the firewall on an unpatched server, I would give you 24 hours before that machine is eaten alive by something out on the internet. I mean, these kind of attacks are happening all the time, just on a broad global scan basis. So this thing gets all munched up and then compromises all of the instances that you have inside. That's all on you. Now, Amazon will put you in a little bubble, so as your machines become DOS attack hosts to the rest of the world, I mean, they'll eventually catch you and shut down your account, but they're going to make sure that you don't impact other people. So when it comes to responsibility, right? Firewalls are part of the network infrastructure, but the element of making sure that the firewall is set up correctly is on us. Network configuration, guest operating system, making sure that thing is patched and all of that. Essentially, you can just get the feel. Now, there is, at least not that I know of, no automated way that you and I can push a button and spit all that out. AWS has some reports that could help, but at the same time, this is a manual gathering process of the areas of responsibility in AWS that belongs to us. Next up, the security token service. Now you're like, what's this have to do with auditing? Nothing. That's why I said it's like a miscellaneous grab bag nugget. I'm just kind of putting stuff together. So, okay, IT audits, put them off into the other corner of your brain. New topic, security token service. I feel awkward just even doing this. What does this thing do? Well, the security token service allows you to grant temporary access to AWS resources. Okay, here's the deal. How many of you know what this is? IAM, right? Identity and Access Management. It's a area of AWS that you can go into to configure groups and users and roles and all that. We have a whole nugget specifically on that, and you can create a lot of them. I think I checked recently, and the limit AWS has is that like 5,000 IAM users